Lindsay Lohan. She's coming back on screen. How proud are you to see her coming back to acting?
Yeah, I mean, I know she was singing for a while, and I'm just happy she's happy. You know, you want people to be happy. Talented girl. Oh my God, she's talented. I mean, she can do all of that stuff. You know, she is a multi-talented person, and I'm happy to see her doing what she loves to do. She got married, I think, and we're in a little communication. We have a funny little text thing going on, and it's groovy.
Yeah, so I did read that you guys have you vet her and you have a question.
Well, I vet everybody.
Very
Because
smart.
I don't believe anybody is who they say they are, because there's something called brushing and fishing, and you know, you can not be you, and you can text me and it's actually not you, and there's a lot of ways people can fake being people, and I don't play the game. So if it's a famous person and I haven't talked to them in a while and they go, hey James, it's Daniel Craig, I say, prove it. And then I ask a question.
What's the question?
To Daniel, it would be, what was the gift that you gave me when we wrapped?
Okay. I feel like you're not going to give me the answer.
I'm not.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So this is the most acclaimed series.
Yes.
Horror series. Were you satisfied with the way that it wraps up?
Well, yes. It's you know, the movie is called Halloween Ends. It ends. It's a sad ending. And there was a lot of thought and talk about it all. Everyone went into it with integrity, and I'm very impressed with David Gordon Green and the filmmakers and the way they told all of the story of Laurie. The 2018 movie picked up 40 years after. You know, Laurie was, I mean, you look 12. So Laurie was, you know, a 17-year-old honors student who was shy and had never kissed a boy and dreamt of, sang about wanting to hold a boy close to her. She was not a warrior. She was a brainiac little girl. Hadn't even begun her life. And it was her innocence, and her life was shattered by this monster. By the end, she simply fights back. She simply survives. But 40 years later, that girl got no help. I believe Laurie Strode went to school the next day. I believe like 2 days later in 1978, November 2nd, Laurie Strode went back to school. Because they didn't talk about stuff then. I think it was just get on with it. And we see in the 2018 movie what happens to people who don't get any support, who don't get mental health help, who don't get grief counseling. That's why the 2018 movie was so great. That's the ass kicker. That's a woman who's lived behind a wall, an emotional wall, a physical wall, who has prepared herself as a warrior to take him on. That's a very different person than Laurie Strode began. That's much more aligned with Jamie. So now we have 2 movies, Halloween Kills, where now Laurie, again, has fighting and has suffered the worst thing a human being could suffer, which is the death of a child. And now we give her 4 years to start to get help. So we start this movie almost seeing that what Laurie Strode might have been for a second had she gotten help. She actually smiles in the movie. And there's a moment of almost innocent flirtation, and you kind of go, oh, wow, I can see.
Yeah.
And then they collapse the everything on top of her again. Yeah. And we see what that sort of poisoning, a society poisoning, does to a victim, that they in fact blame her, and that it's just this horrible situation she's in.
Thinking about, you had mentioned Laurie's journey, she started so young. You also started so young. Do you remember auditioning for this role?
I do. It was a crappy little office. It was a tiny, tiny little office on Cahuenga that they had obviously rented as a casting office and maybe the beginning of a production office. It was a tiny, I mean, it was a 2-room office, and I mean, it was probably 4 feet by 10, I mean, 8 feet by 8 feet. I mean, it was tiny. And there was a desk, and John and Deborah sat there, and there was a chair, and I did the scene where Laurie's looking out the window and she's talking to her friend on the phone, and then she looks out the window and sees Michael behind the sheet, and then he's gone, and then she talks to herself. And I remember, because there was a window in that office, and I remember doing this scene at that window. I remember it very, very well.
Wow. When you look back at that, thinking about everything that's happened since, how do you feel like that moment changed your life?
Well, every single thing in my life is due to Laurie Strode. You know, obviously we can't look back and go, well, what would have happened to me? Everything good in my life today is directly linked to Laurie Strode. My career, I had a career from Laurie Strode. Didn't start so high, it took a while, but it gave me a foothold as an actor. It just gave me a place to stand. And I met my husband through Laurie Strode because I was sitting with Deborah Hill, who wrote Halloween, who became my very good friend. I was sitting with her when I saw my husband's picture in a magazine and said I was going to marry him. And she said, oh, he's with your agency. I tried to put him in a movie. His name is Chris Guest. Had I seen that picture of Chris on my own, there was no method for me to track him down. I would like track him down. But when Deborah said to me, oh, he's with your agents, I did call the agent. I called the agency and said, who represents Chris Guest? They put his agent on the phone, and he said, oh, I know all about it, Chris Guest. I was like, wait, what? And he said, Deborah Hill already called me.
Wow.
But again, I left my number, he didn't call me, and then I ran into him randomly. But my point is, I wouldn't have even, there's no way I would have tracked him down. And now I've been married to him for 38 years. So I owe everything. And then the 2018 movie and the resurgence of Laurie Strode and Michael and this beautiful trilogy that David has written and directed and given me the gift of. It also, because of its success, the 2018 movie was a big success. It has allowed me now a creative life that I've wanted my whole life. I have a production company, I have a deal, I buy books, I now get to do it. I get to do the very thing I see other people doing. I now have a platform to do it from because of the success of those movies. And so, again, every good thing in my life can be connected back to that day on Cahuenga Boulevard with John Carpenter and Deborah Hill.